Hey mate, how you doing? Okay, so I've got your email in front of me. So let's walk through how to sell a big ticket item, 4,000 bucks, 10,000 bucks, $25,000 at a time, to an unaware market. So the task that you set yourself is the most difficult task. Does not mean it's impossible, not by any stretch of the mean, not by any stretch of the imagination. Done it many times over the years, sold millions and millions and millions of dollars of product to unaware markets. Here's the way to do it. So step one is you first got to get clear on your avatar. The best thinking on this subject that I've seen in all of 20 years of doing this is by a guy called Dean Jackson. He's a marketer out of Florida, and he absolutely summarizes the best thinking of it. And I'll send you more information on that, and you can see some on the screen here. But he pretty much puts his avatars into different buckets and contextualizes them within their journey. So you've got the absolute beginner at the beginning, then you've got the world-class expert at the end, and that can apply to individuals or companies. But he maps them out on their journey, and then he identifies where on their journey can he help them. So he gets very clear on and very honest and says, I probably can't help the beginners, I probably can't help the world-class pros, but I can probably help the guys that are at this stage move to the next stage. So that's the best thinking on avatar that I've ever found. So once you get clear on the avatar, then the next step is identifying the level of awareness that you want to speak to. And there are 5 levels. The first and the most difficult is the unaware. The easiest is the brand aware. So think, McDonald's, or think in most of our cases, our sort of businesses, a customer has been on the email list or been in the community for like a year or 2 or 3 years and purchased multiple products. They are brand aware. The core lesson to take away from this though is an unaware market is the most difficult to sell, and they have the longest sales cycle. The brand aware audience are the easiest to sell, and they have the shortest sales cycle. Now, in your case, you're saying that speaking to the unaware audience, mums and dads looking for a separate business, a home-based business, something new in their lives. So therefore, that is entirely an unaware market as it relates to your product. So what do you do? Well, this takes us to step number 3 if we're speaking to an unaware market. And now it becomes, what goals have we got? Do we want to close a lead within 2-3 days, couple of weeks maximum, quickly? Or are we happy to build out the content machine and let those leads work themselves through their stages of awareness, i.e. get more qualified, self-identify in terms of their problems and their desires, etc. So in general, if we're looking to move an unaware market swiftly forward, there are 3 main mechanisms that I've found that work the absolute best. The first is the live or auto webinar. The second is the live event, the live workshop, etc. The third is the shock and awe package. And I've worked on all 3 of those. It's really horses for courses. The shock and awe package is quite powerful, and it is a preference thing. I've got many examples that I can share with you as to attest to its potency. One client, pre-shock and awe, their close rate was something like 35-40%. Post-shock and awe is around 70%. Another client has upwards of a 25% close rate to leads that go from unaware through to a purchase using shock and awe packages. And I won't reveal the name of the client, but we're talking, well over $1 million a month in sales. But the point is, any one of those 3 mechanisms can work a treat. And like I said, it's horses for courses. But if we're looking to move an unaware market swiftly through to purchase, these are the 3 that are the most powerful. And if, however, the business model dictates, and it really is a preference thing, where we don't want to use any one of those 3 mechanisms, And what we actually want to do is let the audience filter themselves out at their own pace. And traditionally what happens is, especially on Facebook, because I know that Facebook's going to be your core platform to get leads. The ultimate goal is to aim for 2 or 3 cent page views on a piece of content that the audience identifies with. And right now, video is the game. So in your case, to speak to an unaware market for the purposes of building out audiences on Facebook, the standard rule of thumb that I use is you call out to the market. You don't promise anything. So your example could be to people sick and tired of their job looking for a lucrative home-based business. And then what you do is those people that watch, say, 50%, 75%, 100% of that video content get remarketed with content that moves them to the next stage of awareness, which is problem and or desire. Okay, so that's the standard way to go about it. This works very, very well, or like I mentioned before, auto webinars, events, shop and all packages work very well as well. So we can discuss more about it anyway, for sure. Once we've done that, we move into step 4, which is the unaware market now starts to identify with their desires and their pains. And an individual that has already identified their pain or their desire, they require different communication. So a good example would be, like if we're talking real estate agents, what do all real estate agents want to know? And that is how to get more listings. And so that is a desire-driven awareness that they have. So what do you do with these individuals that are cognizant and aware of their pain or their desire? Customarily, there's a few options here, and it can go off into different directions at this stage. All of these are going to be correct, to be frank with you, and they are, again, horses for courses, and it's got to do with what the overall business model is about. But you could request to get them to download a special report or a book, something that is content rich, and then of course you've got the follow-up after that. You could definitely use a webinar at this stage. Very powerful, and of course towards the call to action you want to start using filtering mechanisms to ensure that those individuals that reach the end of the webinar that do take the next step meet the demographic minimum demographic thresholds required for the sales team. You could also at this stage put them into a video training. You could use an involvement device, very, very powerful, like a survey or a checklist or a scorecard. So the key lesson here is we start to get much more involved with these people, and we start to speak specifically to their problems and their desires. And of course, at this stage, we really do start to introduce product and so on and so forth. A couple of good examples. If you go to one of my sites, 47minutebooks.com, you'll see this is a landing page that converts really well. It costs us around $4 to $5 an opt-in. And this is the key lesson at this stage. For the pain or problem aware market, you really do need to be sending them to landing pages that have one call to action. The multi-page website with the nav bar and all that other stuff that we have on standard websites, that is not optimal at this stage. Another good example is our auto webinar that we use at fubi.co/webinar. That generates leads at around $25, and that's working a treat as well. Have a look, navigate, see what I mean, but the point is landing pages with one call to action is what you want at this stage. So after that, once you've generated the lead and they're meeting a certain quality, then step 5 is beginning the automatic filtering process. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into all of this because if we're going to speak in the context of awareness, I'm probably not going to introduce too much new stuff here that you haven't heard of before. Some of this is probably new, but I'll just touch on each one and then we can explore these subjects on a phone call perhaps. So in terms of automatic filtering, the most powerful ways that I found is on the thank you page of a lead magnet of any kind, begin the filtering process. And you'll see on 47minutebooks.com, when you opt into that landing page, there is a filtering process that we have on the thank you page. Now we have a near on 100% uptake with people participating with that quiz, nearly 100%. And the good thing is it automatically tells our team whether or not a potential lead is high quality, mid quality, or not a fit at all. And so now we can prioritize an 80-20 to follow up. Okay. And if you look at something else with that thank you page, it's a value driven proposition. This is part of the secret of why we get near on 100%. So other things you could do at this stage for filtering is use some sort of a diagnostic quiz. We have clients that are using this very, very successfully. I'll send you the link through with this video. And they've sent thousands and thousands of leads through to this quiz, spent a lot of money on traffic. 9-word emails, that's another Dean Jackson invention. These are great filtering mechanisms, and they have the extra bonus of aiding in getting our emails into the inbox. I won't get too far into the 9-word emails at this stage, but yeah, it's another very powerful method. Another very powerful automatic filtering method is the triage call. So before letting the sales team, spend 60 minutes, 2 hours on a call, either have one team member or a separate department or whatever do a triage call of 10 minutes. And that is all about assessing fit. That is extremely powerful at this stage as well. And once you've gone through step 5 and you've built out your automatic filtering mechanisms, now we're moving on to prioritizing focus on the high quality leads, and these guys require a separate nurture sequence. So when you've quickly identified a high quality lead, you absolutely must speak to them differently. They require more attention. There should be a willingness on your part to invest more in these leads. Why? Because they're high quality, they're far more likely to buy sooner and spend more money. And there are various ways to go about it. In some cases, the shock and awe pack can actually come in here. Other cases, you can invite them for a face-to-face meeting, or even go out to see them. You can justify the investment to go out and see them as well. And then finally, we're looking at the follow-up. Just continually speaking to your audience. Whether it's email drip, whether it's SMS, whether it's chatbot, the list can go on and on and on. I'm just going to very much gloss over this now, but there's a whole bunch of little tools that I use in terms of the super signature, which, believe it or not, is another Dean Jackson invention. You can tell I'm a fan. His stuff works. Talking lots of success story in a biz opportunity scenario. Success stories are very, very important. Lead scoring. Again, I'm not going to get too far into this because I'm absolutely going to overwhelm you at this stage. And I'm sure you know about some of this anyway. Most important, though, is if we're selling a big ticket item to an unaware market, then we need to decide, do we want to be using one of the 3 mechanisms that I found moves them from unaware to product aware very quickly, being the live event, the live event or workshop, being the live webinar or auto webinar, or the third being the shock and awe package. And once that's decided, obviously it's a matter of building out infrastructure around all that. Otherwise, traditional content marketing, like the good folks at HubSpot preach, that takes time, but it's very much a snowball, and once it's built, it can deliver for a long, long time. The downside is, of course, it takes time. The upside is it is a snowball that gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So on that note, thank you very much, and we'll chat soon.